I've been delaying doing this one. I've just been trying to digest post matches. Bloomfield on Sky, Bloomfield with the club propaganda, Bloomfield on 3CR. I've been digesting what's being said on social media. And I was angry after this game because this was a game, Luton 0, Millwall 1, that was vital for us, considering the way the results have gone. The fact that Hull were on the same points as us and they beat Sheffield United 3-0, a team gunning for promotion, and they won, I'll say it convincingly. Fair play to them. Look, they changed their manager a few weeks ago. They've been aggressive. I'll say that word. They've been aggressive in the transfer window early on, and they are getting results. They've turned it around. I was especially angry with this result today because it was a result Luton needed a win out of this game today. I know I've been saying it pretty much all season, and everyone's been saying, "Oh, why are you so negative? Be happy. We're slow burners. Judge it after 10 games. Judge it after 20 games. Let's see where we're at by Christmas." Well, you know what? I've been seeing this. I've been calling it out all season. And where are we at now? We're at the players leaving the pitch, the fans booing the players, booing the board. What can the manager do about it? He's got a bunch of players that are just thinking, well, you know what? If I go down, I'll just leave and I'm going to get another championship club. It doesn't really matter. The mentality is all wrong from these players. I know I've jumped straight to the end of the game. There are fights breaking out in the stand, fights in F block, fights in E block. It's getting concerning. Essentially, the club is ripping itself apart now. The fingers are getting pointed on social media. They're getting pointed at the board. And they're, interestingly, from Matt Bloomfield's post-match on Sky, he said he has no input on transfers. So essentially, the transfers that are happening, it's all essentially being directed by, well, the recruitment team will give some leads to Gary Sweet, and Gary Sweet goes out and decides who to buy. This is a case of we're sitting on our hands waiting for, well, we're negotiating, offering really insultingly low prices to people, and then slowly working our way up. So here we are, 25th of January, at time of recording. We brought in one person, Isaiah Jones, and Middlesbrough were very happy to get rid of him, essentially. They've replaced him with Morgan Whittaker. They got a young lad in from Man City as well on loan. He might not be the finished article, but they also had Ben Doak. So essentially they sold us their second choice right winger. And, well, he's probably better than what we got at the moment. And Carlton Morris coming out post-match as well. I know I'm still on post-match. I haven't even talked about the game. Carlton Morris post-match saying, look, we've all got to stick together. Well, Carlton, you're the captain, mate. How about you tell the players to stop being so shit and actually give a crap during the game? Play for the shirt, not play for your wage. And it's not even a case of the fans paying the wages of these players anymore, because these players are on ridiculous sums of money. The ticket pricing is just a drop in the ocean to what these players are getting now. Do they have an attitude? Do they have the attitude to be in a relegation battle? For the best part, no. Okay, now let's go pre-match, okay? So I'm jumping all over the place. Done the post-match. Now the pre-match. So Gary Sweet's notes, he said, we've lodged several bids. They've been accepted. We will be bringing in new people. So this goes back to what Gary was saying about being aggressive in the transfer market. Well, there are, 8 days left at the transfer market, time of recording? Would have been better to get them in earlier, considering the manager doesn't really have a say in it. Get them in early, let them bed in for these favourable fixtures, or as I've referred to it before, like sort of a pre-season for Matt Bloomfield. But ultimately, the board and Gary Sweet have made a massive error in letting Rob Edwards stay until he was just a rotting carcass with no flesh left on him. He should have gone and was begging to be sacked after Middlesbrough. Pretty much after Sheffield United, it looked like he wanted out. But no, we had to be loyal. We had to be the anti-Watford. So we kept a manager in situ that was, by Gary Sweet's admission, distracted. And we're paying the price now. I have been saying throughout the season, we are in a relegation battle. And I said that early. I said it very early. I was probably one of the first people in the Luton Town podcasting community to say it. And everyone said I was negative. But now it is definite. We are not only in a relegation battle, we look nailed on to get relegated. We're in the coffin. The nails are going in. And I don't know when the final nail of the coffin is going to be. It's probably going to be when we hit that crazy run of form. Sheffield United, Sunderland, all the big boys. All the big boys we've got to play. And we're not going to get a single point off them. I don't see how in this transfer window we can bring in players that will turn this team around at the moment. So let's talk about the game. Millwall, they're coming off a terrible run of form, but Dr. Luton will see you now. We cure everyone's ills, don't we? You haven't won a game in 10? No problem. We'll sort you right out. I think coming into this, Millwall had won one game in their last 10. We helped them out. They were slipping down the table. Essentially, they've been on a terrible run of form since those 4 1-0 wins that shot them up the table into the playoffs. They've been coming down the table. We could have gone within 2 points of Millwall today. It was a vital game to catch up to the Stokes, catch up to Hull, who beat Sheffield United, catch up with Millwall, catch up to Preston, catch up to everyone. Just stay in that pack of teams right above the relegation zone, because these teams are picking up points. They've all made managerial changes and they're all going the right way. Well, I say they've all made managerial changes with the exception of Portsmouth. Portsmouth are a year 1 promotion side. So, well, even they're above us. Portsmouth are above us. And on paper, we have a better squad than them. But I'll tell you what they have that we don't. They have heart. They have heart, desire, everything that we lack. Creativity. They have players that score. Luton have been piss poor this season. There's no getting around that. So this game was kind of a non-event. I would say it was probably one of the worst games to have happened at Kenilworth Road. And it was the 3rd game in this double game week. Well, a 3-game week. So Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. And well, we can't really say the 3-game week is an excuse because Millwall also played 3 games in a week. But Luton Town this season have struggled with every single game week, every single triple game week. So it could be a case of a hangover from the Premier League where you just don't play as many games. Like, we're fully aware of what Championship football entails. Like, prior to our promotion from the Premier League, we had played the previous 4 seasons in the Championship. So it's not a completely alien concept. You always know Millwall's going to give you a game. It's not going to be a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing game of football because of the way they play, but you know you're going to be in a battle. That player, Saville in particular, he tried to remove Jacob Brown's legs on more than one occasion. The referee was atrocious. The ball went out of play in the build-up to their penalty. Like, I'm not going to say it's clumsy from Marv. I think Marv actually had quite a good game. Since he's been playing in the defensive midfield role, he's shown he is a fantastic defensive midfielder. The midfield, they're solid enough whilst not creating too much down the other end, but you have the front 3 which are meant to be able to create things. Amari Bell, he hasn't been the same since his repeated injuries, and I hope that one of the several players that Gary Sweet is looking to bring in is a left back, because we desperately need it. And we need to shake up this squad. We need to get this loser mentality out of the squad. Anyway, so in the build-up to their penalty, this was a return to Kenilworth Road for Aaron Connolly, who didn't really set the world alight. Kenilworth Road, he played twice. Comes in, Marv sort of trips him up, and it's a penalty. Ref didn't hesitate at all. Kaminsky did really well to save this penalty. It went straight down the middle, but he kept his legs out, saved it, and then pounced on it. And I've seen a lot of hate for Thomas Kaminski. Yes, Thomas Kaminski might not come out and command his 6-yard box and grab balls and grab crosses, but you know what? He's a good shot stopper. And without Thomas Kaminski, we'd be below Plymouth. Our goal difference, you would not be able to even calculate it. It would be horrendously low. But we have what we have. And while looking at the team sheet today, it was good to see Mads Andersen back. It was. However, for Millwall's goal that eventually came, I would say, yes, he could have done better with it. He gave a bit too much space, a bit too much respect. Let the Millwall player take it down, control it, and it was a good finish. But I don't think he should have got that shot off because Mads Andersen had his body shape all wrong when contesting for that ball. He shouldn't have even let it drop. But that player took quite a few touches, and as I said, it was a tidy finish. But how do we respond to that? Well, we didn't really respond too much to it. And after a while, I was wondering if the players even were aware that they went 1-0 down. We didn't really snap into life until like the final 5 minutes. And I saw Simon Oxley say in his post-match, you kind of expected the kitchen sink. But Luton Town didn't even send a teaspoon up top. And that's kind of what it felt like. When people say we're sleepwalking into League One, it's not even sleepwalking, because sleepwalking you can't do anything about. This is very much a case of the team being fully aware of what's going on, but judging by the way they were clapping as they came off, they don't care. The players don't care. It's a paycheck for them. It's just another stepping stone on their career, and we'll see where a lot of these players end up. If we are to go down, I would imagine, what I would hope, there would be a clear out. In hindsight, and it's always marvellous looking back at things with hindsight, isn't it? Gary Sweet, the board, the fans were all delighted that we managed to keep hold of the likes of Elijah Adebayo, Colton Morris, Amari Bell, Marvellous Nakamba, all these players that we brought in, and they did well in the Premier League. We were delighted we kept them, but psychologically, are they up to the fight? Were they damaged by the relegation from the Premier League? Quite possibly the case that they were. And if we are to go down, or even if we miraculously survive, all these players need to go. We need to trim the squad down to bare bones, rebuild. That is what Luton Town need right now, a rebuild. But who should be the one to front this rebuild? Should it be Gary Sweet? No, you need a football man. You really do. You need a man who knows his football. You know who would have been perfect? David Pleat would have been perfect as a director of football. But Gary Sweet, he's busy with the new stadium. And fair play. Look, there's no getting around the fact that Power Core is a tremendous piece of work that the board have done. They've picked the one spot probably in England, the last spot that you would build a new stadium, and they have managed to get planning permission. They managed to decontaminate the land. They've done a tremendous job of getting it to the point where we can build. The work on that is only just beginning, and I think Gary Sweet should focus on that and focus on the business operations of the club. Maybe work on the commercial side as well, because commercially we're awful. We need a actual football man to come in with a football eye and be the director of football. Because right now, it's shambolic. A football man that has no prior allegiances, no favourites, no mates. A big part of why I believe, and this is pure speculation, a big part of why Rob Edwards got too much time at the club was because he is good mates with Gary Sweet, and Gary Sweet was so reluctant to pull the trigger. Like having an elderly, sick pet that's just pissing and shitting on your carpet, but you just can't find it within you to put that dog down. You need someone that's going to be ruthless. and we need that person as soon as possible. But it needs to be the right person. We can't just go shuffle the deck of the old boys club again, find another former player, someone from the academy, someone from Luton Town, players past, that is actually on good terms with Gary Sweet. We need to go find someone external that has no allegiances. And that is the case of bringing Matt Bloomfield. I do think Matt Bloomfield will do a good job because the football has gotten magnitudes better. The problem is our players are so bereft of confidence, no one can put it in the back of the net. And that is essentially what's going to send us down. Defensively, we've been all right. We are completely toothless up front. Completely. We have a proper job on our hands now. A gargantuan task. And to quote Gary Sweet from the 2019-20 season, just before we broke for COVID, relegation to League One would be financially catastrophic. How bad is it going to be with the massive wages we have on our books now? Gary Sweet, you've done this, mate. This is on you. This is on the board. This is on two windows of poor recruitment and possibly a third. So we will see where we are February 3rd. And I've always said it, you're 2 windows away from a relegation, especially when they're bad ones. Right. On to the next one. As always, come on, you Hatters.